Well, here we go with another story per se to share. And so this time I'm going to talk about this. I don't know if you can see it real well because the light's sort of reflecting, but what this is a picture of a 1988 Ford Escort. As you can see, it says electric on the side. I had the opportunity to purchase this car in 1992 after my company, the Dr. Soda Company, was acquired by the Coors beer distributorship in the San Fernando Valley. And part of my deal, they wanted me to still run the company. And, but part of my deal was I could go buy a new car. They gave me a huge budget of $17,000. So I knew this company in North Hollywood called Green Motor Works, kaboom, that did conversions, electric conversions. This is a very interesting guy because he was also the Panavision rep in the studios, but he was sort of very much into this as well. So I went and met with him, and we talked for a little while, and he suggested that I go out and maybe find like a Geo or some other light-bodied small car and bring it to him, and he'll convert it. And I said, listen, that sounds a lot like work. And myself and Bob Denvery, aka Maynard G. Krebs, on the Dobie Gillis show, work was I did what I did, and I did what I did as efficiently as I could with the amount of energy that I put into it. So I said, listen, I'll just wait until you have something here that you're converting, and count me in. You know, I'm there. This is something I definitely want to do. So sure enough, he calls and says, well, I got this 1988 Ford Escort, and I'm working on it right now. Should be done in a week or so. Why don't you come by and take a look? I went by and took a look. Had my name written all over it. Just had my name written all over it. So we made the deal, and I became a proud owner of a Ford Escort that had 18 golf cart batteries in it and an electric motor. And fully charged, it got a whopping 75 miles per charge. So it was great. And then, as you can see, again, on the, I had vinyl sign cut for the side. It says electric. And on the back window that I do not have a picture of, it says, yes, ... is electric. Really enjoyed driving it. I think the statement I made is I did this because I can, with the support of the company that bought my company. So anyway, Dr. Soda did very blessed and privileged to do a lot of business at the Walt Disney Company in Burbank, and it was such an honor. It was just such an honor. So anyway, so one year they decided they're going to have an environmental fair out by the gazebo per se, on the back lot. And so a lot of vendors, Office Depot, et cetera, showing their stuff, that quote unquote is environmentally compatible. So I asked if I can bring my 88 electric Ford Escort down, and they said absolutely, because Mr. Wells, who also has a car that he got at Green Motor Works, will have his car there as well. Coca-Cola is going to come and supply beverages so that people would come by, and Dr. Soda would be very happy to give you a Coke or a Diet Coke or whatever you would like to have. We had a blast. My wife was there. My kids, Elizabeth and Christina, was there. My mother-in-law from Washington State was there. I was able to take the girls to meet Carol Picard at Hollywood Pictures. I was able to take the girls to meet Sandra Brewer, who is a most amazing lady, who was with Buena Vista Distributing and wound up being, I think, president or executive vice president of Buena Vista Distributing, managing Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, et cetera. Just, and Sandra, when she met the girls, gave them some Disney pencils and some Disney rulers. It was just a great day. We had a great time. So that was pretty much that. But then, so the next adventure is at Capitol Records. Now, I'm doing business at Capitol Records thanks to another wonderful young lady named Sharon Swab, who I met when she was at MCA Music working for Irving Azoff. Thank you, Irving. Thank you, Irving. Thank you, Irving. Thank you, Howard Kaufman. Thank you, Howard Kaufman. Thank you, Irving Azoff, Shelley Azoff, and Sherry Kaufman. Because without you guys and without Irving and his Midas touch, propelling me forward into the entertainment industry as a supplier of beverages and snacks and kitchen supplies, who knows? But God knew, and God is great, and I'm so blessed. So anyway, so Sharon was working there at MCA Music, and she's a great lady. So she left and went to Capitol, and I think her title there was recording manager because I think she booked time in the recording studio. But we wound up serving everybody top to bottom at Capitol Records. What a great honor that was, and it just met all kinds of people and every day. And Sharon and I are still Facebook friends today. Um, Sharon went on anyway. I'll get back to Sharon a little bit. And, oh God, I love sharing these stories. So anyway, and one of the best parts of being a Capitol was making delivery into the studio, which is sort of like down this big ramp and around and down this ramp to the studio were all these amazing pictures of the Beatles and Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett and so on and so on and so on. And there I am rolling dollies full of soft drinks down there. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so very much. So as time sort of went along, the people that sort of I would call contract managers at Capitol knew I had an electric car, and they said, Don, would you be so kind to drive that thing down there, and we'll invite everybody to come down and look at your electric car? I said, sure. So we agreed on whatever day it was. I drove the car down to Capitol, got there, plugged it in, was not paying attention, but I plugged it in, and people came out and about and enjoyed seeing this novelty of an electric car. But you think about it, when the cars were first made, they were electric, but then we sort of went into not being electric, and here we are today, electric. So anyway, so it's time to go, and then what none of us paid attention to is my little old electric car blew a circuit on the panel in the parking lot at Capitol Records, and I'm going, uh-oh. I got to get back to Simi Valley, which is not exactly a hop, skip, and a jump from Hollywood and Vine. So we got it plugged in, and we watched the circuit. The trip maybe a couple more times, and anyway, got it charged up where at least I can get back to North Hollywood and get over to Green Motor Works where they could plug it in, and we'll go ahead and exchange water in the battery. And so sat there for a couple of hours while we did that, and got back home to Simi Valley. That was a great day. And yeah, so what happened to the electric car? Well, I drove that thing. It got 75 miles of the charge, if I didn't say that before. And that got me back and forth to work. But, I had other cars and vans that I would drive and stuff like this. And it came in real handy after the Northridge earthquake, let's put it that way. But anyway, so as time went on, I had a new sign guy that I met in Simi Valley. His name was Dave, D&L Signs. And toward right around 2000, 2001, it was sort of time for me to part company with the 88 Ford Escort electric car. And Dave said his brother would love to have it. And I gave it to him. I gave it to him. I need to back up a bit. So when I first got the car and I had to go register the thing at DMV, they had no clue what to do. They had zero clue because there's no engine. But we got it done. There's always a way to do most everything. So we got it done. So anyway, so Dave's brother had that car. What happened to it after that, I do not know, but that's my story, and I'm sort of sticking to it. And I hope you keep the story alive, because that's why I like to do this, because whatever stories I have, I share them because I do want to keep the story alive. Please tell your friends. There's no subscribe button on this YouTube channel yet, but maybe we'll get there with your help. If you know how to do that, please let me know. My email is 10301don@gmail.com, 10301don@gmail.com. See you later.